and welcome to the From Here to Paternity. I am Scott, the man who watches birds and polishes turds. I'll pass it on to Damien.
I am Big D, D-Man, the man with the plans. Eric?
I'm Eric, the unapologetic geek. I'm kind of mad we stopped using my music, but that music was still very cool.
We can go back next time. And I am Joe, slacker extraordinaire.
And we have a guest.
Yeah.
This is our guest, Thrashpondo the Pons, coming to you live from the Patronkin bunker. And sadly, I got nothing. I'm just the guy who's tagging along today.
That works.
Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
All right, that's all we're doing. So, I would like this is our little intro like that we do to kind of get the juices flowing before we actually start recording, so that we can make the recording actually fun and funny. And one of the things, okay,
we were so boring before.
Yeah, I know, right? So one of the things that I was thinking about was, as I was getting ready, do you ever feel like the Borg when you're like trying to get your facial hair like taken care of and get it to do what you want it to do? Like, because it's like assimilate, like, maybe a little bit worse than the Borg, but like I feel like I'm going like all you hairs either assimilate or you will die. Like, cause like I'm putting like the balm on, I'm putting all this stuff, and like there's still a hair over here like wanting to go this way, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. Clip, and like
just Einstein it, man. Just let it go wherever,
I've just accepted that I have a symbiotic relationship with it, and it's just gonna do what it wants to do.
You're gonna be like taking a sip of your drink, and it's gonna be reaching in there next time.
Yeah.
Yep. When it starts to do that to me, I basically just shave it off like once every year.
Mine's short enough that I don't have to worry about taming it. It just kind of stays where I tell it to be or want it to be. So, yeah.
Every couple of months, I just go down to the studs. I take my trimmer, I'm like, and it looks like I just haven't shaved for a couple of days, and I start from scratch.
Good strategy.
Show that beard who's boss.
Exactly.
It's like, you guys don't want to cooperate? Bye-bye. Yeah.
If one of you speaks out, I punish all of you. It's Bo Jest.
Yes.
No, so
Beard Jest.
I did try that. I tried that though with my hair, and they revolted and left. And so,
Well, I just want to say hi to John. He's here. He doesn't mean to distract, but yeah, we're not distracted.
John,
Never.
Yeah, I tried this last time. I tried putting product in it for when I'm doing my Twilight Zone reviews, because I'm starting to get vain about it. And it just was not working well for me. So I did what Thrash said. I just like trimmed it down to the studs.
When I use any kind of hair product, I suddenly look like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. No, I'm like...
Oh,
that's fantastic.
I don't know if product comes with the fake scar though. That's weird.
You only shaved twice. That was the best I could do in such short notice. I'm sorry.
Nicely done, though. I like that.
Thank you.
We have a low bar. It's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it has draft beer, the lower the bar, the better.
exactly.
So, anybody have like I dropped off my wife at the airport. We had
Lucky
to get up. We had to get up at 4 because we're on the West Coast and she's going to the East Coast, and you guys are in the future, you sons of guns. And
Thrash is even further than the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Technically, yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, dropped her off, and so this next week I am doing everything myself, and so like, but it's been a whole like weekend of me trying to figure out, okay, how am I gonna like fit this in, and then we're gonna do this, and we're like juggling all the different, because it's with all the activities that we have the girls in, it's easier when you have 2, and when you have just 1, I'm like, maybe we do have them in too much. So who's got the birds?
Says the bird watcher.
I know, right? Right? Yeah. I hear birds and I'm like, oh, wait, birds? What?
I've
You're
got
like a
some
cat.
turds for you there, Scott.
Yeah.
Sounds like, was it seagulls outside, probably?
Yeah, someone.
Albatross.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. That's wonderful. Thrash, I gotta make it up your way sometime, man. Like that, I've always heard it's beautiful.
I gotta go
It
to his
is-
restaurant, man.
Represent. But it's funny. We're just getting to the point. This is a little known fact about Cape Cod. It's great during the summer, but the best time to come actually is in very, very, very early fall. The water is as warm as it's ever going to get. The humidity breaks, and 90% of the tourists have gone home, particularly the one with kids. You can actually enjoy Cape Cod for a change. And then right after that, the leaves change in the western part of the state. So you can do like a whole visit New England thing.
Oh, nice.
So this is actually the best time of year to think about coming to the Great White Northeast,
Nice.
believe it or not.
No, I love it. No, I like. I've been looking at places for one of these days. I'm gonna buy just a whole bunch of land and start that commune.
He's got to buy
and
lottery
then-
tickets first, there, Scott, to be able to.
No, we'll get there. And so like I've been looking at like because I've looked at like Maine also, and it's the humidity and the mosquitoes. Like that's the worst part. Like
If I've learned
love-
anything from Stephen King, it's you don't want to go to Maine. All kinds of weird shit happens there.
right? Like Stephen King being there. No, I'm just
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty weird.
He's half the problem.
right.
They just get.
We
rid of
love
him,
him.
you know?
Right, we love him, but he does kind of keep our population low, and we like it, but it comes with a cost, and so
Well, I tell you what, you won't be able to buy lots of land on Cape Cod. Property values are. There's
Yeah.
a shack in my town, which is going for $449K.
Jesus
That's crazy.
Christ.
that's
How do you
crazy.
think I feel?
Wow.
Why do you think I won't sell my house?
Yeah.
I have to go live in a box.
Right. I'm a millionaire. What's your house look like? It's a cardboard box. That's all I can afford.
Worth $1.5 million, he said.
Right.
It's a 2-room. It's a refrigerator box. It's got 2 rooms in it.
Right, there you go, right?
Yeah. That's the upgrade right there.
Even kept some of that styrofoam packing for a pillow.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
This house is
Sometimes-
heated with clean burning styrofoam.
I
Take
love
that,
this-
tree huggers.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. No, like no. And one of the best parts is you flip it over, and then when you're not sleeping and it's all dry, you get to play like pretend like you're in a canoe, like wee, and really scare the neighbors.
And the styrofoam acts as a flotation device in the event.
Right
of
there, you go. Right.
Well, if it keeps raining on Cape Cod, my house will become a canoe.
All right.
I live at a split level, which will be a 1 level,
Okay,
with an
yeah.
indoor pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar situation. I'm in a split level and I live right across, like basically like right down the road from the Mississippi River. So if it ever floods real bad,
It's like that's one of the things that like I joke with my neighbors, because we have, like, where I live, we have quite like a range of political views, and no, like people like, oh, you guys are on the left, they're always blue. Like no, man. Like Washington State, when you look at the map, like there's like a couple of pockets of blue, and then the whole state is red. But the thing is in those couple of pockets, that's where everybody lives. Like, and nobody lives anywhere else in it, right?
no,
And
I
so
think
why
that's
it's
true
always
in
blue.
most like blue states. Is that like the blue is just heavily concentrated in like the cities,
Yeah.
whereas everything else is still kind of reddish purple.
Right.
Well, it's like Minnesota, where 90% of the population are in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and then you look at the rest of the state, and it's like empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like when I joke with it, because where we are, like we're overlooking a valley, right? And so like it's a valley because the volcanoes ripped it open, and then all the
Volcano.
lava made it really fertile, and so
Pele got mad and
I know, right?
split the earth apart.
I'm looking for
And you live
Moana
there.
to come and I'm looking for Moana to come and like make sure this thing stays safe for the rest of my living here. But I'm like we overlooked this, and when I looked at those, like, let's see, like, there's those maps of like what would happen to my house if the sea levels raised to 10 feet, right? Like the maximum that we're worried about, right? If the sea levels raised 10 feet
In
right?
our lifetime.
Right. Like, I was like, what would happen? Right. What would happen to my house? Right. And like, I looked, and because of the valley and everything, we would actually like go from I joke with them that either we're going to continue to be able to overlook the valley, or we're going to have waterfront property. And so
You'll be on an island.
right. Like, so it's, I would really like it if we took care of things, but if not, we at least have waterfront property. And so then our values go up more. So,
Build the bridges now.
I know, right?
Eventually we'll all be living in Denver anyway. Just the one island.
Right. It'll be Water World, except for Denver. Except for that Mile High.
Yeah.
That's right.
I live on a creek that's connected to a bayou, and my house is the living level is 20 feet above sea level. The basement is like 12 feet above sea level, kind of thing. So we come up 10 feet, and I'll be able to swim out of the basement, kind of thing, into the bayou.
Your basement becomes an indoor pool.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I
Brackish,
lived in
brackish.
Florida and was constantly getting hit by the hurricanes, I always kept my scuba gear nice and close.
Yeah. Just in case.
You never know.
This is a true story.
Inflatable rafts about just in case.
Well, as you guys know, I live next door to a pond, and every now and then the pond floods. One morning, I went out for my coffee and up to my deck, and it had rained really, really bad the night before. And I just happened to look over, and I go, "Oh, look, there's ducks in my backyard, and they're swimming." Literally, a duck pond had formed in my backyard. And I'm like, "Ooh. Well, it's a good 6-7 feet from the house. I shouldn't be concerned yet."
Yeah.
Right.
In the great deluge of 2014?
Yeah.
20 around here. Yeah. We had a huge rainstorm. We had basically 2 feet of rain in 24 hours total, but like 16 of that was within 12 hours. The creek came up in the yard all the way, and I'm like, my house is 18 feet above the creek level, kind of thing. Came all the way up into the yard, all the way to the patio, to where when I stepped out on the upper deck and looked down, there was literally water up against my house. My basement had 42 inches of water in it, and so on. It was a lot of fun. I call it a basement. It's really just a little addition on the back of the house that happens to be dug down into the dirt as well, that I have my workshop in. Anyway, so yeah, that was a bit of a shock to walk out on the balcony in the morning and go, yeah, I'm surrounded by water.
You win.
I had joined the creek.
Wow.
No, I remember you like posting about like
Yeah.
all like having to like all the stuff that you had to like get out of the water and everything.
I had to pull almost everything out of the workshop and put it up on the patio. And I literally went to Home Depot that day and bought like, what was it? Like 8 cans of WD-40. And all of the electric motors basically got filled with a can each, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to expel the water so that they would still work. I only lost one tool, thankfully. And there still is a chainsaw down there that I have never gotten to fixing. It's probably rusted solid at this point. Just a solid engine block of rust.
Turned it
It's a
into
real
some
saw,
wall art.
Yeah. it's a manual chainsaw now.
You have to like pull the chain yourself.
Put a big wing nut on the side or crank and just kind of crank it.
Damien's Texas Chainsaw, like the Florida Chainsaw Massacre or whatever. Like, it doesn't make that. I gotta make the noise.
Just hold still and I'll saw your leg off.
Becomes a bludgeoning tool at this point.
Right? Yeah. Wait, are you cranking your chainsaw? Just go with me on it, okay?
Just
Just go on with me.
Just hold still. It'll be over in a minute.
He's not Leatherface, he's Chunky Face because it can't cut that well, and so there's bits attached to it still. Looks like just one giant hot mess.
Naugahyde face.
There you go. Right.
I have a neighbor who's got like 3 chainsaws, and he's always very excited about them. Like, I could be outside just weeding, and he'd be like, "You want me to take care of those weeds with a chainsaw?" I'm like, dude, calm down.
He just likes playing with his chainsaw.
He does. He loves playing with his chainsaw.
They're fun.
Hey,
I get it.
At an early age, we boys have always enjoyed playing with our tool. So, like, let's...
Yeah.
Sometimes 2-3 times a day, you know. I'm playing with my tool right now. I'm kidding.
No. No.
Put your pants back on, dude.
We did. No one said release the Kraken. All right, like no one said release the Kraken. Liam Neeson
You
went
know
home.
if it was out because it'd be like standing here right in the middle.
There would be a shadow.
It would be talking, and Damien would be
why do you have
passed
2
out.
microphones, and why is that one flesh colored?
This is all John has to say about that. Oh, wow.
Anyway,
No wonder we don't have any viewers.
I know nobody wants to listen. We're like, we
We have one
regularly
more than I
joke.
anticipated. We have 3 instead of 2.
Holy moly.
Ooh,
What?
fantastic. We going
Oh,
fancy
gee.
now.
And only one person commenting. Nice.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't want to be associated with this channel either, and so
They're
Yeah,
just
some of these
hiding.
people have to look for jobs and
They're
stuff.
like,
Right,
we'll,
like-
we'll watch this bullshit, but we won't. What was I supposed? I'm not allowed to swear.
we're past the
Oh,
past
okay.
the
We're
time.
past
zone.
that
Yeah,
mark. Yeah.
Swear
Okay.
your fucking heart out, man. Yeah,
That's right. Well, we got to ramp up because the podcast that it's all going to start to come out. So
Yes, I have quite a few words stored up. So,
No more.
it's been a week.
words.
I joked on Friday that it was my 5th Monday in a row. So
so
For what?
I didn't hear any of Damien's story because of Scott singing.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
oh, I just said it's been a week. I had joked on Friday that it was my 5th Monday in a row. So it was a hell of a week.
My son
Gotcha.
finally went
Now I
back
know.
to school on Wednesday, and for Wednesday through Friday, I did absolutely nothing. It was nice.
That sounds glorious.
It was everything I ever dreamed.
Granddaughter goes back to school this Wednesday or Thursday. No one tells me anything, but it's this week sometime. That much I know.
Right. It's weird. Like, I don't remember school starting on Wednesdays. Like, when I was growing up, it was always on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a full day. You know.
Yeah.
You were
None of these
there the
half
whole
day
week.
weirdnesses. Yeah.
Oh, there was a beautiful time when like they started doing teacher like they blocked off time for teachers to do work and education and stuff, continuing education. And so like on Wednesdays we got to go home early, but the problem is that I played football. So we ended up having to like hang around
Yeah.
in order to do practice and stuff like that. And so like everybody got to go home and we just like, all right,
Except
well,
for us.
let's go to the gym and take a nap. Like just everybody went and take an afternoon nap. And then like when it was like practice time, because the coaches had their other jobs. So we couldn't like, all right, we'll just start early. No. Like we had to wait for their jobs to finish so that they could come in. So we had to just basically hang out until like the normal time that school would get out. And then head to practice, get dressed, and do it. And so, like, yeah, it was, you know.
Okay, so
was-
I got to get this off my chest because like
Oh.
my son at his school, he is spoiled fucking rotten. Because like if he ever has any downtime, he can just go to the library with his friends, and they've got a big screen TV and a Nintendo hooked up to it, and they just play Smash Brothers until like it's time to do whatever they have to do. Like, what the hell, man?
kidding.
And at
ridiculous.
our library, we have to hunt for books.
Oh yeah, you're in Florida.
They put them behind.
Oh,
They put them behind black fabric, or take them off the shelves altogether over here. It's ridiculous.
No, it's like going to an old school video store, like where you had to go behind the curtain for all the like. That's where all the adult stuff was, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, in Florida, all of the books are behind that curtain, and so
Yeah, you walk into the video store and there's like that one rack right there by the door, and everything else is in the special room. It's like
right.
Yeah. It's like,
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yes.
Right.
When I was a kid, it was like a 70s bead curtain too, you know?
Far out, man.
Just to get you ready to know what you're going into.
Yeah.
We are some wild and crazy guys.
And then, but if you wanted and then you had to go down into the basement to the guy with the really the creepy looking dude with the trench coat, and he would sell you the stuff like the snuff stuff, or or the snuff and scat stuff, or the
what kind of video stores are you going to?
Oh, you don't want to know.
An alternate universe, man.
I ran a Suncoast. We were all above board.
There was a time in my life when I didn't know.
Yeah, the video rental store we went to when I was a kid, it was just called the video store. That's it. It was just the video store next to the Game Town Pizza. It was amazing.
I'm dating myself here. The first video store I went to was actually a pool supply place. They didn't have designated video stores when I started going to video stores. It was opened up as a side business. You'd go into like a hamburger stand, and they'd have a little rack, or a little peach bodega, or a pool supply place. And they'd be like, "Oh, you want to rent a movie while you're getting your chlorine? We have some right over there."
Yeah.
Oh,
we had a convenience
I don't know, man.
store.
Setting up a home theater, that's a pool. That sounds amazing.
In my little town, we had a convenience store that had a movie section off to one side that you could, it was a little corner of the store where you could rent videos from. That was the first video store in town. Then we had one like, who was it that said the one in my town was just called the video store?
Yeah,
that's Eric.
Yeah. Okay. The same thing in my little town. There was a store called the video store. You could go rent videos there. So that was the second thing to open up. So yeah, that's how old we all are at this point, I guess.
Yes. No, one of my favorites was Alfalfa Video. And it had Alfalfa from the Little Rascals. Thank you. And it was phenomenal because it had all of those off-brand cartoons, like the they weren't Warner Brothers, they weren't Hanna-Barbera, they weren't Disney. They were
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was like one of them was like this really giant duck with it was like small on top, big old bottom or whatever, and it was and a little girl that looked like with curly hair and looked almost like a doll or whatever. Just like these off-brand cartoons and stuff that you would get in in the Easter baskets, they would have Huey Duck or something like that.
Baby Huey, I think his name was.
Huey. That's what it was. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Baby Huey. Yes. Baby Huey. It was that genre of, or that group of. I'll have to look it up while you guys talk.
And little Audrey, I think, was the girl you're talking about.
Yes.
I watched a lot of cartoons as a kid. A disturbing amount, even.
Obviously.
I don't know. It sounds like the Dr. Thunder of my Saturday morning cartoons,
Paramount Pictures Famous Studios. That's
Paramount. Okay. That makes sense. They were trying to compete.
Yes, Little Audrey, Buzzy the Crow. He also did Casper, Herman and Catnip.
Well, obviously I know Casper, but I think that's the only one.
Yeah. That's the Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, the Harvey Films. The Harvey Films cartoons. Yes.
That's what I do.
Thrash, you have just made my entire week because I know what I'm going to introduce my kids to.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Those
anyways.
cartoons were great. They really were. Oh yes.
Did you guys see any of those?
I'm sure I did. I was looking
Other
for
than
another one.
Casper, I'm looking it up, Baby Huey, and that kind of disturbs me.
Okay, now I gotta look it up.
There was another lot of cartoons which I think were made in Denmark or something, and they didn't want to redo the voice track, so they just had this like really weird narrator who would just tell you what was going on in the cartoon, and those were pretty intense too.
Okay, God damn it, not that Baby Huey.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like that came up for me too. I was like, wait, no.
You know what? He does look kind of familiar.
Anyways,
Weird.
yeah. So if you're watching this, go check those out. It'll make your day. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, now I'm distracted. Sorry.
I know
Yeah.
we've all kind of gone off
we're
the
like
track.
I know. We're all like, wait, we gotta look this up. And what are they doing with? I know, right?
I want to watch cartoons. What are they doing with what? You trailed off there.
Oh! I was like, wait, what are they doing with that cucumber? Like you know. So,
I used to watch a lot of the old Filmation stuff.
making
too.
a salad.
Oh well, yeah,
that's what I do.
Filmation,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was looking for that one. There it is. Yeah.
Anybody ever watch the Toxic Avenger cartoon?
I did.
Like
Yeah, the
one or two
cartoon.
of them,
Yeah.
maybe.
Have you heard about the new Toxic Avenger movie with Peter Dinklage?
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, they're making a new Toxic Avenger with Peter Dinklage.
Oh,
I did not.
thank you. I forgot all about that. God, that's gonna be phenomenal. That's gonna be phenomenal. Like Peter Dinklage as like the Toxic Avenger. Oh, I don't know how. Like they're probably gonna CGI it or whatever, but still, like he is such a phenomenal actor. And then like, but like making the Toxic Avenger kind of look like him, like they did with like the Incredible Hulk in the Marvel movies and stuff. That would be so fantastic.
I don't know, I really hope they don't do CG. I mean, like just
hope-
like
yeah.
melting face prosthetics is not that hard to do. It's not that expensive.
But I Toxic Avenger is like this really like very large dude, right? Because like he originally was a really scrawny guy, and then
In a tutu.
Yes, right, and like and then he goes and becomes this like giant person. So I don't know how you do that with someone who is a dwarf, and so like without
Forced
doing
perspective?
CGI,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe, right?
I mean,
like,
in the Hobbit and like or all of the Lord of the Rings stuff,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were able to take
That
people
was
that
that
were much
forced
taller and
perspective.
make them look shorter. So you know,
yeah. You know what?
Like it.
Movie magic. Like, hey, you know what? Now you kind of sold me on that. I do hope that they're able to do that. Like, that would be fantastic.
He's got another movie coming out. Have you guys have seen this? He plays a guy who writes operas, and he's suffering from writer's block. And he's in this very physically unsatisfying marriage with Anne. She recommends that he just kind of go out and walk among the people and come up with a new idea. And he ends up meeting this demented tugboat captain in a bar, played by Marissa Tomei. And they have an affair. And this somehow triggers his creative juices, and so he writes an opera about a demonically possessed tugboat captain who then proceeds to stalk him. And now here's the twist. She ends up going to see a psychotherapist to try to overcome her psychosis, and the psychotherapist is Anne Hathaway, his wife. So it becomes almost operatic in its very nature. And I'm watching this, and at first I'm like, no, but then I'm like, this could actually work, particularly because it's Peter Dinklage, you know, and he's just great across the board. So I'm like, I generally don't do rom-coms, but ones involving psychotic tugboat captains, I think I might actually be up for.
It's called She Came to Me, apparently.
Sounds about right. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, that sets it. Oh, there is going to be an adult version of that movie, And like, because that name alone just sets up so many different like jokes and plays on it, right? So it's like,
It has to be an intentional double entendre. There's no way it's not.
oh yeah, no,
No, it's just an
absolutely.
entendre. It is what it is. You know?
It is, yeah.
There's nothing hidden there. It's just bam. You know?
Right.
It's not subliminal. It's liminal. It's superliminal.
Yeah.
Superliminal. Oh,
Uberliminal.
It takes you. It takes it with both hands and just beats it against your forehead, and so like,
Literally.
sorry,
Lots of
sorry,
food.
sorry, Eric, sorry, I had to. But no, like,
just expect me to roll my eyes. That's all.
yeah, that's all right. No, like, but no, like Peter Dinklage, Anne Hathaway, and Marissa Tomei, like, come on, like, that sells it right there. Like for me, I like.
Yeah, that's fun.
Like you know, and I one of the things I want to say this since we have some movie people here, I get frustrated at people who rip on the actors for bad movies when actors have so little control over what comes out that we should be ripping on the directors and the editors because they're the ones that really do the final, you know, put together. But bad movies impact actors' lives so much more.
And don't leave out the writers too, because they have a big part of that as far as
but like the writers will write something, but a lot of times the producers, the directors, they'll change it to what they want. They buy the movie and now it's theirs, and they get to do with it what they want and what they will. We're not necessarily seeing what the writer actually wrote. Per se.
That is true. Yeah.
Especially with editing, I think editors are more guilty of this than anything else, because if you get a bad editor, they can look at 5 different takes of a scene and not realize which one is the good one, and will pick one of the bad ones. And if the whole movie's edited that way, it'll look like the actors are giving terrible performances when they're really not.
Right.
Like a good example would be like David Ayer's Suicide Squad. It's a very poorly edited movie. Somehow Margot Robbie's performance still actually shines in that movie. But you take something like, I don't want to say Jared Leto, because I think Jared Leto had problems outside of the production, but like Will Smith's in that movie. I feel like Will Smith could have given a really good performance in that movie, but the edit that we saw just didn't show that. So a lot of people blame Will Smith for his performance in that movie. I don't think that's fair. You can blame Jared Leto because he's a weirdo off stage, but
yeah.
Well, I think the thing with Will Smith is, and I don't want to step on any toes, but how should I? And it's not just him. A lot of actors do this, and this might be the part that people get mad at them for. If they're doing a movie that they're not thrilled about, a lot of them are very, very, very obvious about it. Like you can tell they're phoning it in. Like I've seen Will Smith give some great performances, and you can actually see him. He's rolling his eyes, like I can't believe I'm doing this picture. If they hadn't given me $40 million, I wouldn't be doing it. And it's brutally obvious. And I think anyone who literally phones it in or quiet quits when we're paying you what you guys get.
Yeah,
I think that's a little insulting. You guys get more in one film than I will see in my lifetime. You better act like you're up for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up.
Like,
I agree.
No, you know what? And that's one of the things that I heard like Steven Spielberg does is that he will not pay you like up front like a lot of actors will, right? And because he's like, he doesn't take a payment. And he tells the actors, like, I'm not going to pay you up front. What I'm going to pay you is on how this movie does. Right. And like, I think it was like Tom Hanks was talking about it maybe. And he was saying like, it's this leap of faith that you have to do with him because, and to me, I know actors already have a hard enough time as it is, but
not the actor. The actors we're talking about are the ones who are paid millions.
Right, they're doing.
So we're not
fine,
talking about the
right?
grunt people who are
being
paid slave wages.
Right,
you know?
Like Tom Hanks is doing all right. Right, he can do that. Right, but again, before he just needed like before Philadelphia and Forrest Gump and everything. Like he wasn't doing like he wasn't Tom Hanks, right? And that we know today. And so anyways, like, but I do like that kind of idea of like, look, man, you're gonna get how this. I do like that concept, but again, when actors have so little control out of the final product, it becomes much harder to agree to that, because it's like, look, we're gonna do 6, 8, sometimes 14 takes, and I don't know which one. I don't have a choice in which one you choose, right? And that's, again, it goes with the editor, right? That, I think editors really should get like, have like anybody who's involved in the final product, you know, things like that, that truly gets put out there and has that control of what truly gets put out, you know. But again, that's why, you know, I think they should have that kind of like pay, you know, plan. So it's like, look, we're going to make sure that this gets edited properly. However, I don't think they should, but I like, if you're going to do that to anyone, that's what I think. But like,
no, like with I think Spielberg can get away with that kind of model because he always uses Michael Kahn, and Michael Kahn is pretty much the best film editor in the business. If you show a poor performance in a Spielberg movie, that's not the editor's fault. That's your fault.
Right. Yeah. And so no, I like and also Spielberg, there's certain directors that are the ones that are in there in the editing process, and there's some that are just
oh,
not.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right. And so again, to me, like, I think the product, how a film turns out, really should be put on the director and the editor, not the actors, right? Per se. But
generally
like,
speaking, yes, but there are obviously exceptions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Robert De Niro has had a few of those where it's like, you can tell he's not like fully into this. Ooh. And so like,
John has a good one. Alec Guinness phoned in Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I don't think that's a controversial hot take. I think Alec Guinness admitted that before he died. But George Lucas editing actually made that performance work. And also like his, Star Wars dialogue is very stilted and weird. So like, even if you're phoning in your performance, it kind of comes across as you're being a wise man just by like saying these weirdly written lines. So I think that's how Alec Guinness managed to be such an iconic role, even though for him, he was just doing drudge work. He had no idea what this movie was. He thought it was stupid and was going to flop. He didn't care. He was just happy to go to Tunisia, basically.
But he sounded aloof and very zen. It's like, oh, he's so wise. No, he's bored out of his mind.
Sometimes it is hard to tell the difference between stoic and bored. Yeah.
Now, Peter Cushing...
No, Peter Cushing loved everything he did, and like Peter Cushing was a Hammer veteran, So, yeah, Peter Cushing, like in those Hammer movies, it could be the cheesiest, dumbest story in the entire world, and he would take it as seriously as cancer. You know, he was great.
Okay, so it's been a little bit over the 30 minutes. So I think at this point, it's time for us to go ahead and wrap this up so that we can start the,
no, we have to talk politics.
Just to get to the meat.
Well, we're not talking politics. We're talking about the role of grandparents, right?
Ultimately, we are going to be talking about politics.
We always
will overlap.
No, there's no. Yeah, no, right. No, but it does, like, there is I think most people right now will be able to pick up on what it is, but like there is something that's happening in politics that's spurring this conversation. But again, it goes to the role of men in the family, right? And and four of us, we're all dads. One of us is a grandfather.
Guess which one?
Yeah, right. and but again, it's something that it is something that we that's important to talk about. And so, like, the role of grandfathers, the role of grandparents, and things like that. And so, like, it really, like, I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. And again, it's inspired by something that is happening in politics. But to me, the politics part of it isn't as interesting as the grandparents discussion. And so check that out whenever it drops. And so get excited about that. And we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
No.
Goodbye.
Ciao for now.
What a
We
wow.
sit here awkwardly while we wait for it to end the broadcast.